with the infrastructure we talked about, with the sales we talked about, with Thrive now in the US, with the 24 different unique SKUs, we have a wonderful opportunity to grow this company throughout North America over those 2, 3, 4-year periods.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hello, and welcome to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nuske. We've been away for an extended period over the last few weeks, and I've loved it. I've loved having the break away with family, and I'm hopeful that you've had the opportunity to spend some time with loved ones, and I wish you all the very best for this year. Now, we've spoken with our next guest last quarter of last year. It's Mr. Jim Pakulis. Welcome back to the show, Jim.
Thank you, Rick. Great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely great to have you back. Now, for everybody who doesn't know, we've got a new audience members, Jim. You're the CEO of Boosh Foods, and I'd love to talk a lot about the things that have happened, very exciting things that have happened since the last time we spoke. But part of this whole process, as you know, is that we go over your life personally. So let's start off with where you live. Where's home for you?
It's in Utah. I live in the States. Yeah.
Fantastic. And did you have any time away over the, I guess, the festive season? Do you do such a thing?
I worked up until I was up in Vancouver up until a day or two before Christmas, and then came back and had a wonderful time with the family for about 10 days.
10 days.
So it was great.
And you know what?
Great.
The time just flies, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And what did you do with yourself while you're up there? Nothing.
Fortunately, where I live, the weather's usually very accommodating. So a lot of outdoor activities, lots of hiking, a lot of electric bikes, and just going around the area. It was a great time.
Yeah,
and meeting up with the family again. All the folks that you postpone seeing, and but you finally get all together. It's wonderful to catch up.
Cousins, uncles, and aunts, and the extended family.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, just
Exactly.
for context, Jim, I'd love to share a little bit about, I guess, your upbringing. Where did you grow up? Where was home for you as a child?
Sure. Formative years in upstate New York.
Upstate New York.
Between Rochester and Syracuse on the Finger Lakes.
Tell me what you remember the most about it, the most fond memories that you have.
Boy,
Everybody's got one.
No, I just think it was such a cohesive, beautiful time in America growing up in the 70s, and your friends were your friends, and it was not quite as obviously it wasn't as social media driven. It was you pick up a phone and you go meet your buddy on your bicycles or your dirt bikes, and
It's different.
Yeah, it's a whole different environment. Lots outdoors. I mean, it's when you read about the kid leaves the house at 9, doesn't get home until dark when he's growing up, and that's basically what our group was always about. It's always about outdoor activities.
It's funny you should say that, Jim, because I remember being able to sleep out on a hammock out the front yard of my grandparents' place and not have to lock doors. Can't do that nowadays, can we?
No, well, you can, but you're taking your life in your own hands.
Well, Jim, look, thank you again for sharing. I wonder, from an entertainment perspective, do you enjoy movies? Do you enjoy music? What's your thing?
Oh, yeah, love music. I am an incredibly bad guitar player, but I love. Just got from my better half. I got a beautiful banjo for Christmas. So
very nice.
Now I'm learning the banjo besides the acoustic guitar. Yeah,
And by reversal, you bought her some earbuds, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, touche.
Now, are you a pet lover?
Yes. As a matter of fact, back in one of my former lives, I had created an animal rescue called Heart Homeless Animal Rescue Team, and within the first year, we saved over 500 dogs from being euthanized.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I just love animals, especially dogs. Really enjoy being around dogs.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love dogs too. We have three Rottweilers, in fact, and tell you what, they're a handful. Let me show you. Now,
Oh, I bet.
now I like to help the audience out because we're startup entrepreneurs. Those who are just getting their foot into business, as it were. I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about who inspired you when you were growing up. Who really had an impact on you, and you looked towards to help you, I guess, become the person you've become today, professionally.
Boy, that's great. I didn't grow up thinking about business. It never occurred to me that I wanted to get in the business arena.
Mm.
And I think it was just the formative years having quality, loving, ethical, strong-willed folks. I grew up with three brothers, older brothers, and so they kind of blazed the trail for me. My mom and dad were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would take a little bit, Rick, from everybody. I had some really great school teachers, always in sports, whether it was lacrosse or soccer or basketball. And if you in each of those different arenas, you take one or two people and you learn from them, and you try to emulate their successes.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it was. I don't have it was Mr. or
A
Professor
pivotal
or
moment,
whomever.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no.
No, I agree with that absolutely. But one thing I will ask you though, Jim, in the team sports arena, did you find any value in learning to be a team member?
Oh, great question. Absolutely, 100%. I was fortunate enough in each of my sports to have been a captain or a co-captain, and the takeaway from that is being able to control your own emotions, win, lose, or draw. And you
Yep.
sometimes you have a losing season and you busted your tail for 6 months and it's a horrible feeling. So it's rallying the guys to make sure that the next season is going to be better. And you learn from everybody in a team sport, as I'm sure you know, Rick.
Yep.
You learn how to negotiate. You learn how to lead. You learn how to listen.
Be
And you
humble.
try to go ahead and excel in your sport, whatever sport that may be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know that being the CEO of any organization must be, I guess, stressful, very busy. I'd love to learn how you look after yourself. What's a day look like for you, Jim?
Well, it's unique because I work remotely, so it's either when I wake up early, I work out of the house. I have the house home office,
Mm-hmm.
so there's no drive time. Two times a day I'll break for exercise. Again, we live in one of the most sensational outdoor areas, I think, in the world, down in southern Utah. So I have the pleasure of being able to go out, just go for a run or a hike or bike. So I try to get two good exercise periods in during the course of the day, and
Very
then
good.
it's managing expectations, managing where we want to be, catching up on all paperwork, making sure we're dotting I's and crossing T's.
Mm-hmm.
Prospectively, I spend a lot of time talking with companies that potentially would be acquisition candidates, Rick, for Boosh. I have anywhere between 6 to 8 transactions in various stages of the pipeline, and I've said this from day one, so full
Yep.
disclosure.
Yep.
And and then it's helping out with folks up in Vancouver at the warehouse, at the headquarters. If there are issues that pop up, how can we go ahead and handle the challenges that pop up on a day-to-day basis? So I try to alleviate the stress with a couple of different workouts during the day.
That's excellent. Thank you again for feeding back. Now, I wonder, by virtue of the global pandemic that's upon us, has it is that the reasoning behind working from home? How has that affected the operations, if at all?
Um, it, Very little, from the
Mm-hmm.
fact that my background and specialty is finding unique companies, helping put together the operations, the infrastructure, the support team, finding the right people that are synergistic to go ahead and move the ball down the field. Would I like to be spending more time in Vancouver? Yes, but it's not necessary. With the Zoom, with communicate. Everyone's so used now to the communicating this way,
Yeah.
that it's not mandatory. But I will say that in the other half of the equation, once every 6 weeks, I will spend 2 weeks on the road up in Vancouver, meeting with investors throughout Canada, etc. So it's a sprint during those 2 weeks where I'm on the road. It's a constant nonstop. But Connie Marples, the founder of Boosh, she does a wonderful job orchestrating everything up at our 8,500 multi-use facility up in Vancouver. So we got all the infrastructure built out in 2021 for what I believe is going to be, I hope to be, significant revenues in 2022.
Yeah, that's excellent. Fantastic. Very exciting. Now, I was going to ask you to share in depth Connie's story. Is that something you're able to talk to for us? Because I think it's very good for context.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was fortunate enough to come across Connie in the summer, fall of 2020. My
Hmm.
group and I specialize in looking for industries that we believe are trending upwards and will continue to trend upwards for a long period of time. Then we try and find companies within that sector that we believe are scalable. And that really depends on management, who is running that company. So we looked at about 40 different companies over the course of a year, and we were fortunate enough to be introduced to Connie's Background back in 2002. She opened up the first wine bars, some of the first wine bars in the greater Vancouver area. Extremely successful. Was on the short list of the coveted Contenast Best Restaurant in the
Yes.
World Award.
Yep.
Fast forward in 2017-ish, a lot of her friends were reaching out to her because they knew she was celiac. She has celiac disease, and that
Hmm.
she's very sensitive to what she can eat. So a lot of her friends were asking her can you create some plant-based recipes? So she decided to take it one step further, lined herself up with a co-packer in the greater Vancouver area, started off with a few frozen plant-based heat and eat non-GMO gluten-free meals, comfort food. Jumped in the Boosh mobile, started selling them around the greater Vancouver area, and she did extremely well. And unfortunately, COVID then started to hit, and with
Hmm.
everybody, there was trials and tribulations. But we recognized when we met Connie in the summer of 2020, what a wonderful person she is, and the ability with our financing and our background to be able to help scale this company, take it public, which we ended up doing in May of 2021. So Connie is also great with recipes. Since then, we have the 6 frozen. We just a couple months ago introduced 3 refrigerated products: mushroom gravy, sloppy Joe, and chili. And then we just introduced shelf stable, 2 different types of mac and cheese, plant-based mac and cheese. They're shelf stable. So now we're in 3 of the 4 different segments of the grocery store, and that's all because of Connie and her forward thinking.
Yeah, wow, I'm just hungry thinking about it. Now, I wonder when you're on the road, you mentioned, you're looking for all these new ideas and engaging with new prospects. How many weeks a year do you travel, did you say?
Wait, I'm probably traveling. I'll be on the road every 6 weeks. I'll be on the road for 2 weeks, so 2 times 12, so 24. Yeah, so be roughly a third of the year. I'm on the road.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, is that where you get some of your best ideas from as you're traveling down the road, do you think?
I don't know if I've ever had a best idea. I don't know if I have any good ideas, but yeah, actually, it really is. That's true. Yes, when you're traveling, you tend to have a lot of the different thoughts.
Different thoughts come to
Yeah,
pass. Now,
yes, there you go.
you've got a lot of press releases. Tell us a little bit more about Dave Richardson's appointment. Very exciting.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful individual. He and his family a long history of successes in Canada. I believe over 100 years. Dave has done extremely well for himself, both as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, and as um, just constantly looking how he can help organizations on a nonprofit level. He also enjoys investing in junior cap companies where he believes the market that they can scale according to the marketplace. And he really loves the plant-based industry. I was just on the phone with him a couple of days ago.
Mm.
So a seasoned expert. In fact, we were talking about I said was introduced to somebody who was a CFO for Richard Branson and from the Virgin fame. And he goes, oh, no kidding, we're talking. And he sends me 5 pictures of him and Richard playing tennis.
Small world.
So, well, small world.
6 degrees of separation for sure on certain. Now, you mentioned earlier that you were looking for organisations and then you came across Connie. Now, that begs the question, as the CEO of Boosh, what was your prior background leading up to this position?
I've been in the CEO spot since 2010. Did our first reverse merger in the cannabis space, actually.
Yep.
I took Weed Maps public from 2010 to 2012 as a CEO. And so, and then continued on in various spots in the cannabis sector as in the corner office, whether president or the CEO. So I've been fortunate enough to work with a ton of great people, and hopefully I've been able to guide them in the right direction, and hopefully we're heading in the right direction with Boosh. I believe we are.
Yes, absolutely. Now, there is obviously opportunity for people who are listening to this as not only consumers but investors. But that begs another question. You're onboarding 25 new accounts per month. What are you doing to, I guess, ramp this all up so people have a bit of an understanding of how you operate?
First, we needed to create a sales department, which we did in the last year, throughout the second half of last year. Then we needed one just superstar to oversee that, which we found with TJ Welsh, heads up North American sales. His background was about 15 years in the plant-based food sector, also was a manager in the sales department of Unify, significant deep relationships in the plant-based sector throughout all of North America. So we're just stoked that we have him on board. So number one is that. Number two, with Brandseed is our Canadian food broker. They're the ones that also are assisting us with getting food to the different accounts open, besides our internal sales team. And then a couple months ago, we hired Thrive Natural Sales Brokers, one of the top tier food brokers in the United States, natural food brokers in the United States. They touch. Yeah, they're made up of really, it's like the basketball team in the summertime. It's the superstars get together. This group is made up of superstars. So we're just it's fantastic. We have a relationship with them, and we're just getting geared up to start marketing and selling throughout the United States. So to answer your question directly, we have a great internal sales team. They're out there hitting the pavement every single day. TJ, with his relationships, are making things happen. Brandseed, through their network and brokers, are making things happen, and then Thrive will be turning on the jets in the not too distant future. So
wow,
I think that numbers.
You got the rubber on your soles are burning. You're moving that quickly. It's just amazing. I actually saw a video with you in it.
My condolences.
With Thrive Natural Sales. What was that all about? I saw that on your webpage.
Oh, was it me or was
it? Yeah, it was you. It was you, and you had your sunnies on. You were looking all cool. You had the mountains in the backdrop. It was really.
Oh, yeah. That must have. Yeah, I think that was just. That's right around the corner from where I live.
Oh, wow.
That must have been just the introduction, Rick, of us getting involved with Thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I see that you've got the I guess the ability, the tenacity, the marketing chops, as it were, and you've built yourself a wonderful team. Now you've also. I think I saw Connie on Business TV. Is that correct? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. BNN Business TV, affiliated with Bloomberg. Yeah, we probably have 4 or 5 different commercials running on BNN over the last 6 months. Really effective. It was great, and the owners of the studio, the station, are just fantastic people. I've worked with them for years, so we're just delighted to have our relationships with them.
Again, so much happening in such a short amount of time. You've also now about to launch direct home delivery. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Well, we want to do it be as frictionless as possible when you place an order. Everybody's become less patient, including myself. When you're placing an order, you have 3 to 5 seconds, and if you don't accommodate that person, then they're going to go by the wayside. So what we're trying to do is become as frictionless as possible when you're placing a Boosh order. Hence, the road of least resistance, www.booshfood.com. By the end of this month, we'll have a limited number of products on there, and then we'll continue and expand out eventually to have all 24 of our products on there. But that was the methodology behind it. We just wanted to be able to make it as easy and quick and as few clicks as possible for you to be enjoying a nice hot shepherd's pie with Beyond Meat crumble in it.
Oh, very nice. Now, it begs the question also, Jim, where are you sourcing all of these wonderful ingredients? Are they local? They are made up of local and international produce? How does that come about?
The majority of our ingredients, raw ingredients, is from the Canadian marketplace. And I would say the high majority, if not 100%, is from the Canadian marketplace. And then we have a co-packer that's about 10 minutes away from our facility in Vancouver, who actually goes and sources the supplies for us and puts together the packaging, puts together the meal. We have quality assurance professional that oversees everything, making sure each batch is systematic and consistent. They package it right there at the facility. We then go ahead and put it in the frozen storage facility, or if Unify is all ready to go, they'll just come and pick it up right at the co-packer. But as far as the ingredients, everything is done by the co-packer.
So tell us a little bit about the Boosh community. You would obviously have a thriving community of people who have similar needs to Connie's. Do you listen to them, and how do you get their feedback about, I guess, new product ideas? Do you have such a thing?
This is really Connie's wheelhouse. And yes, to answer the first half of your question, we always are listening to customers, 100%. It's one of the reasons why we have the least amount of preservatives, arguably, than out of any of the plant-based foods out there. Besides being extremely healthy and really tasty, and price points are right there. But as far as the rolling out new products, that's really Connie's expertise. Right now, I would say she's working on probably 6 new items. So just to recap of last year, we acquired 3 separate companies. One, Vegan Canteen, which is powder-based cheese. Number 2, Salt Springs Harvest, which is a veggie pate and dip. And number 3, which was Pulse Kitchen, which is plant-based cheeses. And unique, they differentiate themselves in the marketplace. We will never, I shouldn't say never, but highly unlikely we will ever come out with a plant-based burger or chip or chicken. Most likely it'll be something that complements. It's a secondary dish on the plate. And the press release that we came out with this morning is indicative of that. We're expanding now, and it's not necessarily for everyday use, but here's a perfect for a party. You're having a party, a dinner party on a Thursday or Friday night. You have 15 people over. This is perfect. These pates and dips and cheeses are absolutely perfect. You're healthy. You feel good too after you eat it. You don't feel like you just had a pound of cheese at a party. It's
heavy duty.
They're heavy duty, and they're filling, and they're tasty, and they're healthy, and I can't say enough good things about both Salt Spring and Pulse Kitchen. Just phenomenal food.
Thank you again. I know that we have a vast and varied audience base who listen to the show, and I'm wondering, who is Boosh ideal for? Is it everyone, or is there only those who have needs for non-GMO or gluten-free? Who does it apply to, do you think?
Former. Everyone across the board, everyone that eats. Boosh caters to.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful.
We don't go after the vegan market or the vegetarian market. Although those individuals that subscribe to that are enjoy our foods, but we go after someone like myself. I enjoy chicken and fish. And as an example, we like when you have a Boosh food complementing perhaps a chicken, like the mushroom gravy, hot mushroom gravy poured over chicken over the top of some pasta is second to none. It's phenomenal, and it's healthy, and it's good for you. So it's flexitarians, Rick. It's the individuals that are meat eating, but they do want a little bit more plant-based in their diets. That's who Boosh is designed for, the busy family that everyone's running around during the day. Everyone finally gets home at 6 or 6:30 in the evening. Mom and dad are exhausted. or the caregivers are exhausted, but you got to feed the kids something good and healthy. And Boosh is the ideal product, ideal entree for that busy family. That's who we designed Boosh for.
Yeah, that's excellent feedback. Thank you again for sharing. Now, I know full well that this is a great opportunity for both consumers to eat better, but it's also an opportunity for investors. Now, I'm wondering what's happening in the, I guess, the 1 to 2 5 year plan. Do you have such a thing? And I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about, I guess, your ticker and that sort of side of things.
Sure, absolutely. We do really want to be a disruptive force in the plant-based industry. Bloomberg came out with an article a few months ago that the valuation in the plant-based industry is going to be $1.4 trillion by
Wow.
2050. That's going to come from somewhere. So you're going to see, I believe, a movement from the animal-based protein to plant-based proteins. We have a blank canvas in front of us. We have a wonderful opportunity with the infrastructure we talked about, with the sales we talked about, with Thrive now in the U.S., with the 24 different unique SKUs, and we won't be stopping there. We have a wonderful opportunity to grow this company aggressively throughout North America over those 2, 3, 4 year periods. So I don't want to prognosticate what I believe those numbers are, but I
Mm-hmm.
want us to get very large. I'll give you an example. Back in the cannabis space in 2014, 2015, there was roughly 600, 700 different small publicly traded companies in the cannabis sector. Today, you have 6 of them that are billion or multi-billion dollar companies. I would
Mm-hmm.
like Boosh to be comparable to that in 3 to 5 years from now. I want us to be one of the strong brands in the marketplace. If a Kellogg or a Post or one of the big boys come in and want to entertain a potential acquisition, great, let's chat.
Great.
But we have to get to critical mass before we go ahead and start entertaining those conversations. But I want us to get big. I want us to be disruptive, and I want us to get big. That's my goal for Boosh.
Yeah, you're absolutely driven. Nothing has changed in terms of your story. You're consistent, you're a go getter, and it's a real credit to you. And I really appreciate the conversation that we're having, Jim. So, what is the stock ticker that if anybody wants to find out more?
We trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange, the CSE. The ticker is VEGI, VEGI. We also trade on the OTC on the QB, and the ticker is VGGIF. And if you're listening in Europe, the Frankfurt ticker is 77 small I.
77 small I. Thank you. And just in closing out today's wonderful call, Jim, tell us a little bit about where people can find you online. What's the website URL and what will they find when they get there?
www.booshfood, singular, booshfood.com. Booshfood.com. First of all, you'll see all the different products that we have. You'll have a history of Connie. You'll have a locator in regards, most importantly, next to Connie. You'll have next to the Connie being up there. The next most important thing is there'll be a locator to determine where in your geographical area you can find Boosh, and that's the key right there. Try Boosh. The other thing, Rick, I'd like to talk to you about just real quickly. Obviously,
Absolutely.
we're growing by leaps and bounds. In fact, we just announced a couple of weeks ago, we just got an order for 120 stores for Save On to be delivered at the
Oh,
end of
wow.
March, beginning of April. Uh, and so we continue want to keep on growing, but from a corporate standpoint and from an investor standpoint, we try to be as non-dilutive as possible with our capital table, our capital structure. And what does that mean? That means that we don't like to issue lots of shares. Many companies, when they go public, will have 50, 100 million shares outstanding. We only had 16 million shares outstanding when we went public in May of 2021. We also did not want to take in a lot of capital at that point because we did an IPO at 50 cents, and we did not want to be dilutive at 50 cents. We believe that the fundamentals in the company over time, the stock price will appreciate. Plus, we had over 1,100 retail investors in our IPO. We believe a large shareholder base is the best way to grow your company, and we work very diligently to continue and grow. I think we have over 2,000 shareholders now with less than a year into being a publicly traded company. So not only do we extremely value our customers that are buying Boosh, but equally we value our investors and our shareholders for putting their faith in us as we go and grow the company.
Absolutely, everything's coming together and in a rapid way, should I say. And with all that, Jim, I'm always enjoying our conversations together, and I very much look forward to another opportunity to get a further update in the next quarter. And thank you again for joining me on the My Future Business show today.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.